What is up guys, Project Mick here, back with another Stardew Valley video. Just want to thank you guys for all the support on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 tips to help you improve your first spring in Stardew Valley. These tips are things that I wish I did when I started playing Stardew Valley, and they will help you improve your progression. Make sure you maximize your spring in your first year of Stardew Valley. Just before I get into this, I want to say I got a new mic. It is a Blue Yeti mic. I just purchased it. So hopefully the quality sounds a bit better and this mic does well. I'm still fiddling with the settings, so you guys let me know in the comments how it sounds. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the first tip. The first tip we are going to be talking about for your first spring in Stardew Valley is going to be to make sure you're always constantly foraging throughout the map. This can be done in the lake north of the town, it can be done south or east in the forest, but especially early game, it is vital that you continue to forage around the map and look for these sort of berries and drops on the ground that will help you improve your energy and your health. These things are not only great for improving, they're really good for improving energy. So if you're in the mines, if you just have been chopping trees down and you are exhausted after a while, these little things that you can forage around the map will be vital to your progression. Our next tip in Stardew Valley, tip number 2, is going to be to make sure when you first start out the game, the seeds you should be buying are cauliflower or potato seeds. Do not bother with parsnips or beans. Before the strawberry festival, which we'll talk about in another tip, you're going to want to focus on cauliflower and potatoes. This is because they maximize the amount of profit you can get in seed. They are just the best out of the selections. We're going to talk about what you do after the Stardew Valley fair, because you're going to want to buy a different seed. Alright, tip number 3 is going to be to try to get to the bottom of the mines by the end of your first spring in Stardew Valley. The reason for this is once you get to the end of the mines, you get the Skull Cavern Key. Skull Cavern Key is very vital in Stardew Valley in order to start progressing and getting ores much faster. Along with this, it also comes with Iridium ore, which is a very handy and useful ore that can be used to craft a lot of things, and it sells for a lot of money. So make sure you're prioritizing the mines, do your best to get to the bottom by the end of spring. This is where it comes in when I was talking about those forageables. Pick up those forageables so you get the max amount of energy that you can in the mine. Alright, tip number 4 is going to be to try your best to get enough materials to make sprinklers before the egg festival. The reason why you want to do this for the egg festival is because you do not want to have to be wasting your energy and time in the mornings watering your plants. If you're able just to water your plants until the egg festival, once the egg festival comes, you buy your strawberries. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit there, let them water themselves, and then just rack in all of the strawberry money. The way you do this is by going to the mines and collecting copper and iron ingot. Copper can be found levels 1 through 40. Iron can be found levels 40 through to the end of the month. So this, like you see here, this is a copper. You're going to want to collect all of this and do what you can and try your best to get as many sprinklers before you're able to buy strawberries at the egg. So this is going to be vital to your progression, so make sure you're doing your best to get as many ores as you can. Just focusing on the mines early game is just very pivotal and is a great thing to be doing in the early game of Stardew Valley. Our next tip in Stardew Valley is going to be to make sure if you are fishing to fish by the lake here. This is because the lake offers the best ratio to profitable fish in spring season, in my opinion. So if you are going to fish, and I do recommend fishing, it is a good way to make money early game. I recommend to start at the lake here in this one because you can catch the most profitable fish for bass, stuff like that. So you want to come to this spot right here, fish off of little incline is almost made for fishing, and sit here and fish. Do not fish in the rivers and do not fish in the ocean. Make sure you're fishing in the lake. You'll make as much as you can. The next tip for your first spring is going to be a bit of a tough one, but I promise you it'll pay off. Be able to make it happen. Going to be to try your best and craft as many lightning rods as you can in your first spring. This is because lightning rods, when they get struck by thunder, they create something called batteries. Are very useful late game, especially mid game. Even though they might not be as useful in your early game, you're going to need a lot of them in your late game. Trust me, I'm struggling with them. So you're going to want to make as many as you can. Spring has the highest chance of getting a thunderstorm and rainy days. So do your best to make as many as you can. You don't have to make that many, even if you make 5. Honestly, enough. When there's a thunderstorm or it's raining, make sure you're staying up the whole day, and I promise you, you will have at least 4 of your lightning rods producing batteries. Alright, it is now the Egg Festival. This is probably the most important event in first spring Stardew Valley. It is going to be a couple of our tips here. For this tip, the most important thing about the Egg Festival is this right here, the strawberry seed. Strawberry seeds are your key to making a load of money in Stardew Valley. If you're following the tips from before, like I said, you should have enough ores and you should have sprinklers already ready and set up these strawberry seeds. What you're gonna want to do is buy as many strawberry seeds as you have spaces for your sprinkler. And buy more if you want to manually water. I would suggest not, just so you can do other things in your first of spring, like the tips that I have said in this video. But yeah, this tip is just all about strawberry seeds, and they are the best seed in spring for you to get money. Make sure you buy them. Do not miss the Egg Festival. On the 13th of spring, it starts at 9 AM. Do not miss it. Our next tip is going to be to try and buy excess strawberries for your next spring season. I know this is a bit of a long shot, especially first springs, but if you're in your second spring, try to buy strawberry seeds for the next year. You only get 13. You're going to want to load up with as many as you can. Plant them on the 1st next year. Our next tip in Stardew Valley is going to be to make sure that on the 15th to 18th of your spring that you are going around and foraging these bushes, because they drop something special on the 15th, 18th, and these are salmonberries. Salmonberries are so good for energy spring, as they've got multiple from one, and they have a chance of spawning from the 15th, 18th on any bush in them. All of these, all of the ones south, all the ones by the bus, everywhere there's a bush, salmonberries have a chance of spawning. It is critical. You are going around and get as many as you can. My first spring, I got 144. Boost your productivity in Stardew Valley so much. Our last tip for spring is going to be to make sure that you do not overwork yourself. What I mean by this is these tips can make you play the game a lot and take away from the fun of Stardew Valley and the grinding game, which is good, but sometimes can burn you out. So I'm just going to say, make sure that you don't overwork yourself. Do only as much as you can and as much as you want. So make sure you're only doing what you can and what you want to do. Don't overwork yourself.
The 3 best ways for beginners to make money in Stardew Valley. This is for people who are just starting out in their first to second year of Stardew Valley in their brand new farm. I'm going to give you the top 3 ways I think are the most profitable and efficient ways to make money in Stardew Valley. Our first strategy is going to be fishing. In my opinion, fishing in Stardew Valley is the most profitable way to make early game money, just because it is constant. You can constantly do it. There's multiple spots on the map to fish. each fish sells for a different amount, and they usually all sell for a really good price. And it's basically free. The only thing that limits you is basically energy. So what you're gonna do, in my opinion, the best place to fish in early game, at least. I know I'm not early game, but I'm just gonna be fishing and showing you guys this world, and then you apply this to your new worlds. But the best place to fish, in my opinion, is gonna be the lake by the mines. The reason why I think this is the best, it gives the best variety of fish no matter the season. And the fish here, I think, are worth the most out of all the fish in map. So what you're going to do, you're going to come up here, you're going to go out to the island in the middle, which you get to... Did I go the wrong way? I went the wrong way. But yeah, you're going to go to the island in the middle, you're going to sit on that perch, and you're literally going to fish all day. And I know you have other stuff to do, but if you're trying to make money, fishing all day is definitely the best way to make money in Stardew Valley. So, especially for early games. So you're just going to fish here all day. You're going to cast out in this one spot. And you're going to cast, try to get your max. Doesn't really matter, but try to get the max. And you're going to fish here all day. And I'm going to show you the profitability of this strategy by fishing here all day. We're going to throw it in the shipping bin. And then I'll show you how much money you get. As we were fishing, I just wanted to tell you guys the pros and cons of fishing. It's one of the early game money making strategies. The pros for it would definitely be it's constant. You can constantly do it as long as you have energy, which you can get energy back by eating the forageables you find around the map or just the fish that you catch. Another pro to it will be that, in my opinion, the amount of fish you catch, you make the most money out of all these strategies if you're doing it constantly. So that'd be another one. Another pro is you can get treasure chests which give you other things such as ores and random things of that nature. And another pro would be it's fairly easy. It's one of the easier strategies. It doesn't take a lot of skill. And the cons for fishing would be it is very boring. It can get very boring at points. Depending on your skill level in the game, it can be a little challenging. As I say that, I just missed the fish, but yeah, the cons would definitely be it's boring, can be challenging, and it doesn't really let you play Stardew Valley in the other ways if you're just fishing all day, because all you have to do is sit here and fish. So yeah, that's fishing. I think it's the most profitable way, but it's definitely not the most fun way. But we'll get into some other fun ways in the rest of the video. But I'm going to fish and show you guys how much I get at the end. I have fished until 1 a.m. I am back at the house and we are going to see. I have made $5,593 in 1 day of fishing in Stardew Valley. Granted, a lot of these are iridium quality, which you will probably not catch, so you will probably not make as much as this, but you'll still be making around $5,000 if you do this every day. $5,000 a day in the new farm of Stardew Valley is a lot of money. That for 5 days you have 25,000. That is a crazy amount of money for early days. This is definitely my number one strategy when it comes to early game profit. So I suggest all of you do this. Without further ado, let's get into the second best way to make money for a beginner in Stardew Valley. The second best strategy in Stardew Valley for making money in early game is mining, in my opinion. For this strategy, you're going to want to head up to the mines. If you're a brand new player, you unlock this on day 4 or day 5, I believe, but you unlock it sometime throughout the early game stages, very early game stages. You're going to head to the mines, you're going to go in, you're going to go down, and it's key that you just collect every single ore, gem, earth crystal that you find, and you just do this all day. The reason why I think mining is the second best way, and why a lot of other people might not, is because if you are able to get some furnaces down and smelt the ores, mining becomes a very profitable way of making money. Probably the most, but just takes a lot of setup and a lot of time to do. So some of the pros and cons to mining, in my opinion, is the pros are it's very fun, very engaging. It allows the player to play Stardew Valley as it's supposed to be played. It does not take a lot of energy. out of your day. As long as you have some foraging material, you can just keep consistently doing it. And if you have an adequate setup with furnaces, it can be very profitable. The negatives about mining are it relies heavily on if you have a good luck day. So that means if the spirits are okay, if they're very displeased, you're going to have a very bad time mining in the early games. If you guys don't know, you go to your TV and look at the fortune teller to see what the see how a good luck the day is. But yeah, that is definitely a negative. Another negative is you definitely do need the setup of furnaces. You need some etiquette coal, and it does take energy, which can be replenished, but can sometimes be hard for new players to get that. But if you have adequate energy, if it's a good luck day, I would highly suggest you go mining and you just get as many ores as you can and get as far down as the mines as you can. So I'm gonna go mine for this rest of this day like I've been doing, and then I will catch you guys back and we will see how much money I make from mining. Another thing about mining that I did not mention is it stacks, so you keep your progress from day to day. So for example, if you get to floor 20 one day, then you start again the next day, you'll start at floor 20, and the lower you go, the more ore you will find and the more money you will make. So it is a strategy that builds upon itself, and that is another very good thing about it. And the lower you get, the more money you will end up making. I'm back at the house, cleaned up my inventory, and this is what I have to show for a day's worth of mining. 13 carrots, 300 stone, 122 copper, some geodes, some crystals, aquamarine, quartz, like all these goodies I got from one day of mining. I think I ended up getting to floor 15 only, so within one day. So another thing I didn't mention about mining and why I think it's number 2 is because you can actually get artifacts and things that you need for the community center, the museum, things of that sort of nature that can help you progress in the game as well. Also, you get geodes, which I'm going to open these geodes before I do the final tally because this is included in the bindings I got from one day. So I'm going to go open these geodes and then I will sell and we'll see how much money we made, baby. I processed all the geodes, smelted all the ores, sold it all. We were able to make $5,267 in one day of mining in Stardew Valley. Not to mention we got things like an ancient seed, which gets you closer to ancient fruit, which is the best way of making money. We got a ton of minerals and gems. We got tons of rusty things for the museum. So although this strategy does not make as much money as the fishing strategy, you get a ton of other things that are just vital to Stardew Valley progression. And it is also much more fun than the fishing. But yeah, that is the second best strategy for making money for beginners. The third best strategy for making money for beginners in Stardew Valley in your brand new farm is farming. Farming can be an extremely profitable way to make money, but you have to be sure to buy the right goods, plant the right things, and make sure you're constantly watering and keeping up with your farming. It can be kind of boring, but it can pay off in the long run. It can be very lucrative. So for this one, I'm not going to be able to show you guys the final thing of how much money I would make in one day, but I'll give you guys an estimate just because this is an old farm and I don't want to have to wait like 9 days to give this video to you guys. And also I don't have all of the crops shown for each season, but I will tell you guys which ones to plant and give you an estimate how much money you'll make. So what you want to do is you're gonna wait for Piers to open at 9 o'clock. You're gonna want to go in there, and if you're doing this strategy, you should spend all your money on farming goods, whether that be potatoes, strawberries, blueberries, whatever it is, whatever season. You should be spending all your money, and then you basically plant it on your farm. You water it if you don't have sprinklers, and you basically do that every day until you can harvest. Now, the best fruits to buy and to plant for the most money is in the spring. In your first season, it's going to be potatoes at the start, And then once you are at the spring egg festival, you're going to want to buy strawberries. You're going to maybe even want to buy for the next year because the egg festival is on the 12th. That's what I would do because they are the most lucrative. In the summer, it is blueberries. In fall, it is cranberries. And in winter, you obviously cannot plant. So you have to do the other two strategies that I talked about. But yeah, those are the ones you want to buy. You want to use all your money on it. And that's what you want to do with farming. Now, the reason farming is so low is because if you don't have the greenhouse, you can't farm in the winter. So that's why I put it on the 3rd. It has the potential to make a lot of money. So the pros of farming would be it is very lucrative if you have enough money to buy large amounts of farming. You can leave it. Doesn't take up too much time if you have sprinklers. If not, you're not going to want to plant a lot if you don't have sprinklers. And it's relatively easy. The negatives are going to be it takes up a lot of time watering if you buy too many. It requires sprinklers, which also requires mining. And it requires a lot of pre-planning and a lot of money in the beginning in order to get a return on it, and it takes a while. But yeah, if you were to farm, usually most plants give you a double X on your return, a triple. The plants that I told you to plant give you 3 to 4 harvests per one plant, so that is why I told you to get those ones. But yeah, farming is a great way to make money in Stardew Valley. It's just not the funnest or the most efficient, in my opinion. You should be utilizing all 3 of these strategies throughout your Stardew Valley, especially in the beginning game. Get some crops down, fish when you have extra time, and make sure to be in a mines to get all the money and all the loot you get from that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you in your new farm. And for beginners, I hope this helps you and gives you a little bit of a guide on where to spend your time. But yeah, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you guys for all the support. Please subscribe if you're new. I appreciate it so much. Project Mick out.